Joey Brooks. Actually, Lot Joseph Brooks the fourth. Shout out to my namesake.
Coach, just tell us your title and what school you at right now.
I am currently the assistant coach and general manager at UTSA men's basketball in the American Conference, San Antonio, Texas.
Explain the general manager position for us.
It's actually something that I've always had a desire and an aspiration for. I very young, well, I guess relatively young. I was introduced to Billy King in my time as a player at University of Notre Dame, and since then, my freshman year, I've always wanted to be a general manager at the NBA level. Now, recently, in the last couple years, general manager opportunities have started to become available at the collegiate level, and to me, that's a mesh of my desire to teach the game, to help teach life, to use the game to teach life, to mentor young men, and then obviously to help them prepare themselves for life beyond basketball. And now that means how you manage your money, how you earn opportunities outside of the game from what the game brings you, community involvement, all those type of good things.
So that's basically on the NCAA level. That's including NIL deals as well.
Right. So I am over really generating as many opportunities for our guys in the NIL space as possible, generating opportunities for them to serve the community, bringing donors to the table, bringing corporate sponsors to the table, building relationships with businesses in the community that want to support our team and support our players. So all of that is what goes into kind of our role.
And how's it going so far? Just good, okay, or not so well?
I think it's been going great. We've gotten a lot of positive feedback from people in the community. Obviously, as a staff, this is our first year. Coach Conch taking over in April. He brought me on shortly. Really, technically, I was the first hire since he was still in the Final Four or preparing for their Final Four run. And so it's been going really well, man. There's been challenges, of course. Obviously it's becoming a wider gap from haves and have-nots. I think we are closer on the have side and continuing to build, some infrastructure and some things in place that will help our guys be supported. But I would say we're far above where I thought we would be at this time on the front end.
NIL, is that a pro or a con, just in your opinion?
I think like anything else, it can be both. I would like to, I'm a positive thinker. I'm a positive person. NIL to me is a pro. I believe we weren't getting compensated when I was playing, and I know that those opportunities were we would sometimes get in trouble. Man, we go and get a haircut. Somebody gives us a haircut for free, and it's like the world was about to end. And I don't think that that model is right. I don't think that model is suits kind of where the game and opportunities with the game are going. It's $1 billion business. It's $1 billion industry now. So it doesn't make sense why, the players wouldn't be compensated to a fair level. I do think the negative side is that, or the con of that would be, I do think at times both the academic opportunity to earn a degree and hopefully provide for yourself after the game, as well as, not necessarily, forsaking some of your opportunities as an athlete, as a basketball player. Those opportunities are very finite. You don't have 100 years to play. You only have a certain amount of time. So sometimes when you're going after a small amount of money, you lose sight of the long haul. And so those are two looks at positives, a lot of positives. And then if you take it out of balance, I think it does. There are some negatives to it that we're still trying to navigate around.
I know it's just been a short time here so far at UTSA, but have you noticed any differences in the Texas and Louisiana? And just give us some of your thoughts on some of the things you noticed so far.
Yeah, no, man. It's funny because this is my 8th year as an assistant or on a Division I staff, and this is my first year of 8 being in having a job in Texas. I've always been considered a Texas guy. I'm from Houston. I love Texas. I love Texas kids. I think a lot of the best programs in the country recruit Texas for a reason. I won championships in Louisiana at Nichols, Southland Championships, and I think the Texas and Louisiana pipelines, man, there's some of the best athletes in the country that come out of those pipelines. That's proven. The Dallas Metroplex, Dallas-Fort Worth, Houston, San Antonio, Austin area. You look around the country, and a lot of the best programs outside of this region come to this region to try to get really good players, and there's a reason they do that. Louisiana also has some of the best athletes, not just on the basketball side, on the football side. You look at football, some of the best players in the country, skilled players, offensive linemen, defensive linemen, they come from out of the boot. So, I've been very fortunate to build roots as a coach, as an evaluator, as a, I consider myself also a fan of the game, and so I love the way that the game has developed in Texas, especially basketball. It's always going to be a football state, but basketball has come a long way in a very short period of time, and I think that's reflected in, I think I saw, Texas was at the top in last year in the NCAA tournament. They put out most number of players in the tournament from the states, and I think Texas was 1 or 2, with like California and DC, and I thought Indiana had a number of was up there as well. But Texas is well represented, and I think that's not going anywhere. That's not going anywhere but up from here.
All right, let's jump around a little bit, Coach. You went to Purdue, right?
I went to Notre Dame, but I worked at Purdue. Yes.
No, okay, I'm sorry. Well, let me ask you this: where did y'all make a tournament run? Was it when you were a player, or was that a graduate assistant coach?
Both. So we went to 4 tournaments as a player. We made deeper runs as a coach when I was at Purdue. I do have a graduate degree from Purdue, so you could say I graduated from Purdue, and I love those guys. Those guys are family. Coach Painter is, my birthday was last week. He hit me up and wished me happy birthday. And some of those guys that I've coached at Purdue are now playing, at the NBA level, at the EuroLeague level, and, we stay in touch. So we went to Sweet 16 and Elite 8 back-to-back years, which was the first Elite 8 in Coach Painter's tenure up until this past year when they went to the Final Four. So I was really excited, for him and excited for that program. And so those are experiences, man, that I think have continued to shape me and allow me. Speaking of, the state of Texas, Carson Edwards is one of the guys that, has his name retired, has his name or number put up in the rafters at Purdue, and obviously he's a Houston kid. And again, speaking to the strength of the talent that comes from this state.
All right, so let's go. Cal State Fullerton, you guys made a tournament appearance there as well.
Yes.
All right, so they just tell me, what about at Nichols? No.
We did not. We won a conference championship regular season, but we didn't finish the deal. We didn't make it to the tournament.
Okay, so just being with your experience in making it to the tournament, just talk to us here. What are 2 of the main coaches y'all will need here at UTSA to kind of play their role, and 2 of the main players that will be key factors into y'all making one of those tournament runs here at UTSA?
Yeah, man, that's a good question. I think, the main difference that I can speak to is, Purdue obviously is a multi-bid league, the Big Ten. They get 6, 7, 8, 9 teams that go in the tournament every year. Cal State Fullerton is just 1, right? Nichols, just 1. Here is somewhere in the middle. So we're not going to get 6 or 7, but we're not going to get just 1. We're going to have this is going to be a multi-bid league in the American. So it's a great opportunity, we think, to, if you have a strong regular season, if you're competitive in the league and you're at near the top, and you are doing what you're supposed to be doing for a consistent period throughout the regular season, there's a chance that even if you don't win the conference tournament in the American, you can still receive a bid to go to the NCAA tournament. So, I think, from a staff standpoint, I believe we have a high major level staff, and Coach Claunch has echoed that many times. And 2 guys that I think are really, I would say I'm gonna give you three actually. Three guys that I think are really monumental in terms of what we're doing is Trevor DeLoach, who came from Jacksonville. He is one of the most well-connected and I would say selfless men in the game. Cares about our players, cares about our coaches, wants these guys to be prepared for life. Has recruited and signed and sent a number of high-level players to the pros, and obviously they've had successful college careers. Joseph Jones would be the second one. Big Joe Jones is a well-known name in this state. Carries weight around Texas. Carries weight, I would say, nationally also. Last year was the interim head coach at Tarleton, where they went to the semifinals in the WAC, and he was WAC Coach of the Year. Joe brings a tremendous amount of energy and tremendous amount of presence, and I think his experience. He's a guy that's been to the Sweet 16, to the Elite Eight. I believe they went to Elite Eight at Texas A&M, and he's seen that stage, right? Speaking of, I think they played in the Elite Eight in San Antonio at the Alamo Dome, right? So his experience is second to none. And then Nick Bowman is the third one I would mention, man. He has a tremendous wealth of experience, went to multiple Sweet 16s at Tennessee, is coming from the University of New Orleans last year in the Southland, and has coached with myself and Coach Conch at Nichols. And he'll be guiding a lot of what we do on the offensive side of the ball. So I believe our staff is a high major staff. And then on the player standpoint, which it always comes down to players, and in the NCAA tournament, I believe if you have good guard play, you're typically going to be in a position to be successful. So two names that I would say for us to look out for, Primo Spears from Florida State, who averaged 11 and a half points and 4 or 5 assists, I believe, at Florida State last year. He's going to be a huge motor for what we do. Brings a tremendous amount of intensity and defensive presence, can really guard the ball, can really disrupt at the point of attack. And then Smurf Millender, who is a Houston kid, man. He has been off the charts for us thus far. Can really shoot it, can play on and off the ball, is really, really developing and growing in his ability to create shots for others, to draw to, and to find, open teammates. His leadership, he's a young guy, but I believe he has the ability to really carry the leadership torch along with Primo and some of our older guys as well. And then I would say bigs, Jaquan Scott, who's transferred from Mississippi State. I think he might end up being one of the best rebounders in the league. Genevius Smith, who's a transfer from Buffalo. I think he's going to be a terror for guys in the league. And then Mojai, who is transfer from SMU, is a really big body, got soft touch around the rim, great character, great leadership. Those are guys that I think are gonna really be impact players for us throughout the course of the season.
All right, Coach, as we narrow down the interview, give me one reason, something a part of your recruitment pitch that you tell a guy why they should come to UTSA.
I believe I would think that I'm a little different than most. I believe in the 40-year plan. In my office, actually, I have a jersey from when Carson got drafted with the Celtics, and he wrote on the jersey, we're gonna be family for life, and that's something that really I carry with me. Like all the guys that I recruit, whether they stay for a year because they're fifth years, whether they transfer, early in their career, whether they stay and play for 4 years, whatever the case is, I would hope that they all know that they have an open door and an open line to me, and for me to be an impact in their life, not just from an X's and O's or from a skills and drills standpoint, but somebody they can call when they have their first child, or somebody that they can call when they're getting married. I've been to former players' weddings, and celebrated with them, and that's a moment that you can't ever get that moment back. That's a priceless moment, and so I believe that this game is a vessel for life and for life lessons, and to teach how to be the best version of yourself, as a father, as a son, as a man, as a brother, as a teammate. And so one of the things that I think separates us is, this is a family environment. We want that type of investment and relationship to where that I care about you beyond the lines. That I'm always there for you beyond the lines. And, I believe that I'm a coach that coaches because I want to be the coach that I needed when I was in their shoes. And if I'm able to do that for one guy, then I've succeeded. And that's something that I believe separates me each and every day.
Give me at least 3 players you recruited. Don't worry about what location you were at, but you did get that you regret. Like, oh man, I really wanted this kid, whether they pan out to be really great talent or not.
I'll give you one, Jordan Ivy Curry. We recruited Juice, and I would say I was a little late to the party, which but he was somebody that we thought had a tremendous ability to score the ball, and obviously that proved to be right. He's been successful. Before we got here at UTSA, and I'm sure he'll be successful this year at UCF. So I wish Juice the best of luck. Another guy that I would say, oh man, golly, his name just jumped out of my head. He transferred and went to Texas Tech. He played at Texas Tech 2 years ago. I'll think of his name. I can't think of his name. Golly. Let me think. I really like a kid who I think is going to end up being good is Yuto Yamanuchi, who ended up signing with University of Nevada. And he's really skilled. We recruited him actually 3 times, and we thought this was the time that we were going to get him. We were really close with him. But he's a great kid, plays for the Japanese national team, 6'10", 6'11", can shoot it, skilled, can pass. I think he's going to eventually be a pro somewhere. He would be one definitely that I thought we missed out on. And then, one that we missed this past cycle is Cruz Davis. I recruited Cruz Davis. Man, I love Cruz Davis. His family is tremendous. His father is a guy who's a friend of mine. I think he's going to be the CAA Player of the Year at Hofstra this year with the way Speedy has done previously with guards. I think the world of Cruz, and I wish him the best of luck. And I think one common theme with all those guys, like, Juice, they still talk about Juice from what he did in the community and the way he cares about people, delivering meals and, making sure that the homeless have food, and he would, take his own money and go buy pizzas for the homeless and people. Those are stories that I still hear to this day. Yuto is a tremendous person, young man. Cruz Davis, his family is phenomenal. All those guys are guys that I believe are high-level players, eventually going to be pros, all 3 of them. And they also have high-level character and are people that care about others than themselves. And that, to me, is what makes you a great teammate and gives you the opportunity to, I think, be successful in the long term.
All right, Coach, let's have a little fun with it now. So, me and one of my good buddies, Carlos Sherry, we have a podcast called the Opinions Podcast. So basically, there's no right or wrong answer, just your opinion. We just try to have a lot of fun with it. So we'll do a segment with you, but you only can have 3 answers.
Okay, all right.
Really good, okay, or you don't recall. We'll give you a little wit. Don't recall.
I'm going to say that, don't recall. I feel like I might need that one.
But you only get 3, don't recall.
Okay, all right. Okay.
All right. Now, now, you graduated 2009 out of high school,
yes,
right?
Yes.
All right, just give us your high school, where you graduated from.
Straight Jesuit.
Sweet. So I'm going to throw out some names here around your era, whether it was Houston, surrounding area, state of Texas, whatever. And you got to give me this player was really good, he was okay, don't recall. Because in some cases you might not have seen.
Okay.
Right? All right. Tim Frazier.
Really good. Pro. Multi-year NBA player. Really, really good.
Jamal Fenton.
Really good. Played at New Mexico, was my teammate with T-Mac. Could really shoot the ball, man. And it obviously is running his training in Albuquerque. Really good.
Tommy Mason Griffin.
Really good. Really good, man. Those are, you named three of the best, I would say three of the best guards in that class in the state, just off the rip. Those three were obviously, Tim had the best pro career. I think Tommy has one of the best prep careers of any guard, not just in Texas, in the nation. And then obviously Jamal had a tremendous collegiate career.
Brandon Peters.
Snap. Okay. I'm going to say only okay because of the three that you led with. The three that you led with were so good that I'm going to say Snap was okay. Snap was an athlete, man. Could really jump out the gym and obviously was on the special Yates team. So I'm going to say okay.
Mike Davis.
I remember Mike. Okay. I would say Mike is okay. Was a good player. I remember we used to play each other since like 5th grade. So like I knew his sister and like his family and saw them all the time. So okay.
Ray Penn.
Okay. I'm borderline really good, but still I'm using those first three as my standard.
See, I hooked you up with that.
Yeah. Those first three were so good that it's hard for me to say really good after that. So I'm gonna say Ray was okay.
Joseph Young. Joe
Young, really good. Mighty Joe Young. Shout out to Joe Young. His dad and my dad played pro-am ball together. So I've known Michael for a long time, and I played with his brother, who's a good guy as well. So really good. Joe Young was really good. Pro.
Ray Turner.
Really good. Another teammate of mine on T-Mac. Really good. I believe is he still playing?
I'm not for sure.
He was playing in the NBL a couple years ago in Australia, which is one of the better leagues outside of like the Spanish ACB and obviously the G League and the NBA. Ray, really good.
Eric Williams.
That's my brother, man. I love him to death. It's actually, that makes my heart really sad because Eric's been going through some things in his personal life, and I love Eric to death. Shout out to Eric. Our families are really close. Eric his skill was really good. I thought, some of the other stuff in his life, which some of was not in his control, made him okay. Which I think is a tale that, a lot of guys, I think, I always tell guys it's connected. The life that you lead when you go home is connected to how good you can be, when you're on the floor. So I would say skill, but like really good. Some other things, kind of going on in his life made him just okay.
Shout out to Eric. Our prayers go out to Eric.
Prayers go out to Eric.
If you want to get that story out, man, tell them to hook up with Bobby B and Exercise Media, man.
Yeah.
We're on a documentary blast right now.
No doubt.
Latavius Williams.
Do not recall.
Okay. Jacobin Brown.
Woo, Cove. Really good. Cove. We used to call Cove Creative Player 99. You remember on the video game I think it ended up being Jordan. I'm not saying Jacob was Jordan, but we used to call him Creative Player 99 because he could do it all, man. Could shoot, could handle, like break you down, pass. He was on our T-Mac team as well. Man, Cove, really good.
Man, we need a documentary about this T-Mac team.
Yeah, now we got some dudes, didn't we? We had some dudes.
J.J. Richardson.
I remember JJ, so it's not a not recall. Okay. I'm going to say okay. He was athletic. JJ was athletic. I remember. Yeah.
And I might not pronounce this right. Garland Green?
G! Yeah, Garland. So, that's Gerald's brother, they just won the Big 3 championship this past summer. And I stay in touch with Garland. I'm going to give Garland really good. Pro, still playing professionally. One of the best athletes we played on an all-star game together. And I remember like it was yesterday. It was out of bounds. I was taking it out of bounds. We didn't talk about this or set this up at all. But he like lifted his eyes like this. And I just threw it up there. And he climbed somebody's back and like caught it one hand and boom, threw it. Man, Garland, really good.
Kelly Lawson.
Do not recall.
Go back real quick. You and Tim played high school ball together, right?
Yeah.
How was that?
Man, I think I think every success story you got people along the way that, you know, sort of stoke your fire. And I thought Tim was that for me. I also thought I was that for Tim. We were really competitive, you know, amongst each other, like practices and things like that. Like we both wanted to be the best. And I thought he, like, poked me to be better. I thought I, like, kept him locked in on how did he continue to grow. We're like friends beyond basketball. Like we started playing together in fifth grade, Tim and I. We played 5th, 6th, 7th, not 8th, and then 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. So we played 8 or so years together. And then obviously, you know, what he's done in his career as a professional, you know, almost 10 years in the league, in the NBA, the 3-letter league, not you know, the real one. You know, some of the guys, some of the Hall of Famers in the league, Anthony Davis, Dame Lillard, you know, some of those guys are like, they swear by Tim. And he's a pro's pro. I love Tim to death. Still to this day, we talk and we catch up. And his sister, who played at Rice, was a phenomenal player. His mom and his dad were phenomenal people. Obviously, we went 37-1. If it weren't for me, we probably would have won state. I shit the bed a little bit in that state game.
No, don't tell me that. Don't tell me that. No.
But Tim was a special talent, a special person, fast with the ball. You know, some people are fast, just running in a straight line, or they're like fast. He was both. He could run straight line. He could ball in his hand, didn't slow him down. Ultimate athlete. Obviously played 9 years in the NBA. Still playing now. He's gonna be an NBA player development or NBA assistant coach. You know, here in the next couple of years. I believe last time I talked to him, he told me he had already turned down a couple NBA bench opportunities. So much love to my guy Tim. Love him to death. He actually, fun fact, there are 3 people who were G League Rookie of the Year and G League MVP in the same year. There's only 3. 2 of the 3, one of them was Tim Frazier. One of them was Devin Brown, who graduated from UTSA, won the Southland Championship here at UTSA, won an NBA championship with the Spurs. And the third one, I'm going to forget who the third one is, but they're 2 of the 3. And that's a special accomplishment. Rookie of the Year in the G League and MVP in the G League in the same season. So that gives you an idea of how special, you know, a run Tim had, and you know, love him to death. And I think he's a phenomenal guy. And obviously we did some special things together as teammates that will last in history. Every time I go to Houston, somebody asks me, "Oh man, you played us straight," and I don't think I make that special run if not for Tim. So much love to Tim.
Just 2 more questions now. I got to throw this one in. You say you kind of shitted the bed in that game in high school, but how did that help you? Or how did you learn from that later on in life? Knowing that's a big game, something you wanted, you're an athlete. So just how did you, because there's somebody else that shit the bed, it was a big game, they didn't have their best game. So just tell us, how did you grow from that moment?
You know, it's a quote comes to mind. It's a Kendrick Lamar quote, and it's if I blame you for a loss, I'll be giving you all the credit. And one thing that has stuck with me is, like, when you're the guy, and me and Tim on those teams were the guy. When you are winning and you're 37-0 and you're top of the nation, you can't have that unless you take the credit or you take the blame when you don't do well, when you fall up, you come up short. And so, you know, I always felt like, you know, I was one of the best players on the court. I felt like I prepared like one of the best players in the state, in the country. And that night, you know, it was a big stage. We played in Austin at the what you call it, the Irwin Center. You know, there was, you know, 15,000 fans or however many, and it was one of those opportunities where I came up short, and I didn't have my best game. And you know, I think we played Chavez. We played Chavez in the regional final, and I thought I had like 32 or 34 or something, you know, something like that I had a really good game, and it just didn't end up happening that night. It wasn't our night, and we lost to the state champion. We lost to DeSoto. But one thing I would say is you got to own those things. You can't just be the guy when you score 36 and you win and everybody's happy. You got to be the guy when you don't play well, you come up short, and a part of that journey is like understanding that you can't have one without the other, right? Like you know, to be successful, you must fail, and these failures help you be successful. So now in this position that I'm in now as an assistant coach and general manager, you know, there's a lot of times where our guys are looking to me, right? And when things go well, I can't celebrate and, you know, be all happy. And then when things go poorly, run and hide. You know, I gotta own both. And so I think that was a hard lesson for me to learn. I still have, you know, flashes of that game, just like, you know, all great players do. There's like, you know, everybody has those one or two games that you always, you know, hold close to you. You know, I try not to sum up the totality. That was a special year, really special year. You know, we were top two in the country, in the nation. This was before like the Geico tournaments and all that stuff. And so like there was no form to like settle all that. You just kind of had the rankings at the end of the year. And we were nationally ranked at the end of the year and came up short in the state tournament. But, you know, memories that I'll have for the rest of my life and that I'm grateful for. And memories that I believe, you know, not many people get to experience those things. So I'm grateful for them. And they have helped shape me and take ownership, you know, for the man that I want to be moving forward.
Give us a few go-to people in Houston for recruitment. You know, I could go to these people. It's going to be good, valid information, good character, things of that nature.
Yeah, man. The one, shit. Let me start right with you, my guy Bobby Benjamin. He always gonna tell me exactly how it is, the truth. When you got guys that you think I need to recruit, you're gonna let me know. When you got guys that maybe aren't the level that, you know, that I'm at, you're gonna let me know that too. Another guy, PJ Kuznar. PJ it's like family, man. Like I love PJ. That's my guy. He's very similar to you. Like he gonna tell you like JB might be too good for you. You know, I think he's high major or whatever, or like he's the one. Like you need to come get him. PJ loves the kids too. Does it for the kids. Some of these dudes, you know, live in his house and he takes care of them. And you know, so PJ, we love PJ around here. You know, John Lucas. You know, Big John and John. You know, that's like family to me. I grew up in the Lucas gyms, in the lab, getting my ass bust, you know, by like, you know, TJ Ford and J.R. Smith and, you know, some of these, you know, high-level guys that are all-stars and NBA level guys. And Luke always, you know, I think that's probably a common theme that I didn't think about until you asked me the question is Luke's a truth teller. You know, he's not going to sugarcoat. He's not going to hide from it. You know, even if there was many a day where, you know, because Coach Conch, our head coach, used to train with Coach Lucas as well. And he tells a story all the time about how he felt. You know, there are many days you walk out that gym and you feel like, man, I'm not very good. You know what I mean? Like, do I want to keep playing basketball? But that one day where Coach Luke tell you, hey, man, you're getting better. You're a lot better. Like, you feel like you're on top of the world. And to me, that is something that I try to take, you know, into my coaching is like, you know, tell the truth and, you know, like help guys and paint them that real picture, but like catch them doing right too, catch them doing good. And he was really good about, you know, you got some rough days and you have a good day, he's gonna let you know and he's gonna pump you up about it. But he's also gonna make sure you come ready to work and come back the next day. So those are guys. Sloan, Marcus Sloan does a really great job, I think, putting kids on the platform and helping kids get opportunities at all levels, not just Division I, D1, D2, D3, NAIA, all that type of stuff, JUCO. So Sloan is a guy that I would say as well. And so I think, you know, one thing that I think I would like to see out of the city of Houston is more unity. You know, let's make it about the kids. Let's be putting out messages and be putting out information and things that promote. You know, you don't have to shade somebody to promote what you like, right? You can promote what you like without shading or hating or, you know, throwing dirt or throwing mud on somebody else's operation. And I think right now we got a lot of mudslinging with the hopes of elevating my status, where we don't really need to do that. I don't think that needs to be the case. It's the same with our players. I say it's not zero sum, right? This is not a zero sum game. If I win, that don't mean that there's less for you. If you send a kid to get a scholarship, that doesn't mean that there's less scholarships for the rest of the kids, right? It's not a zero sum game. So if we have that mentality that, you know, everybody might not be high major players, everybody might not be Division I players, but that doesn't mean we all can't be successful and the kids can ultimately win with the game of basketball, which is, I think, the goal is to use this game to live a good life. So that would be something that I would implore Houston. Let's have some unity. Let's do it for the kids, and let's not, you know, look at it as a zero-sum game. We can all win. The kids can all succeed, and we can have a special environment that I think we have in the city of Houston.
For the people who don't know, I'm pretty sure they probably look at this and be like, man, the whole time they watching it, and what does 210 stand for? So go ahead and just let us know what that stands for.
Yeah, no doubt. 210, baby. It's the area code. It's the San Antonio area code. We were actually at the Spurs training camp last week, and got a chance to spend some time with Pop. And you know, I think the city of San Antonio has a lot of pride in the Spurs, has a lot of pride in UTSA, and we're trying to build and tap into that. And I wore this today on purpose because I knew I was going to be with you guys. And you know, we want to make the city of 210 proud. We're actually going to LA next week to play USC and to put ourselves on the platform to play, you know, some of the best in the country. And we want to show that we've built a program, or we're building a program that the fans and that the people of San Antonio can be proud of. Because I think the people of San Antonio really represent where the nation is going, where our country is going, right? And the diversity and the cultural, you know, well-roundedness. The city of San Antonio, man, there's passionate fans, passionate people, hardworking people, you know, people who care about their families and care about their city and their community. And we want to put a program on the floor that represents that grit, that toughness, that spirit. And I think we're doing that every day. So, Joey Brooks, Houston, Texas. Shout out to Extra Eyes Media and the Opinions Podcast. Check it out. I can't wait to see it. Anything they need from me, I'm always here. Y'all come see us this year in the historic Convocation Center. It's gonna be a show. Can't wait to see you.